BCCI Secretary Anurag Thakur said that Virat Kohli abusing a journalist in Perth was a case of misunderstanding and the issue should be put to rest immediately to let the team focus on the World Cup. Kohli suddenly lost his cool after the training session in Perth on Tuesday as he hurled abuses at a journalist ahead of the side's Group League game against West Indies at the Waka on Friday. Once he was done with his training and was returning to the dressing room, India's premier batsman saw a scribe of a national Delhi in front of him. To the horror of that journalist, Kohli started using filthiest of language and it went on for some time before he stormed off, and some of the Indian team members looked amazed as to what exactly had happened. That particular journalist also seemed clueless, but once Kohli cooled down, he told someone about an article that had appeared about him and his girlfriend Anushka Sharma in a national Delhi, and he thought that it was the particular journalist who had written the story. When he was told that he had mistaken this particular reporter as someone else, Kohli called one of the journalists and through him apologized for the incident. Virat Kohli's international record shows he has a good eye, but a case of mistaken identity on his part led to heated draw with an Indian journalist, which has led to an official complaint being filed to the International Cricket Council. A furious Kohli allegedly called Jaswinder Sidhu of the Hindustan Times a range of obscene terms, to the shock of many in the Indian press corps during training at Murdoch Oval in Perth on Tuesday. The issue escalated on Wednesday after Sidhu's newspaper wrote to the ICC unhappy with the public statement released by the Indian team disputing the journalist's account. There was misunderstanding and no abusive language was used. Virat has spoken to the concerned gentleman immediately and matter ends, said India's media manager Red Hills Baba. However, the chonk has been held otherwise, that there was no direct apology and plenty of foul language. The drama started when Sidhu ignored Kohli's agitated finger pointing, thinking the batsman was annoyed with people behind him. But he was soon told by those around him that he was indeed the subject of the Indian vice-captain's frustrations. A stunned Sidhu could not understand why Kohli was so angry with him. Kohli reappeared 15 minutes later smiling at Sidhu. Kohli then relayed an apology to another reporter, saying he had mistaken Sidhu for another reporter. Meanwhile, this incident has been the buzz in the Australian media, and we'll hear from certain senior correspondents what they're thinking about this matter.
Mr. Lalo, what to make out of the incident that took place yesterday at the Indian practice with Virat using some abusive language, hurling some abusive language at one of the stripes?
Yeah, well, obviously I wasn't there and didn't witness the incident, but from what I've heard, look, Virat Kohli just needs to man up and say sorry in person and keep this journalist happy. What he said wasn't right, but he made a mistake. He should come out, man up and apologise for it, and then perhaps everybody could move on. I'm afraid that as an Australian journalist, you cop this from players over the years sometimes, that maybe Australians just a little bit more used to language like that.
This sort of love-hate relationship between the Indian cricketers and the Indian media has been going on for quite some time now. So is it the case with the Australian cricketers here in Australia, with the Australian media?
Look, I have a lot of sympathy for the Indian media. They spend a lot of money following this team around, and they report for a lot of people and try and convey the news for a lot of people. And I think they're treated very badly by the BCCI and by the team in a way that they just do not get the access to the players. We get great access to players. We have players to talk to every day and after every game, and there are constant media opportunities because Cricket Australia realises that they need to promote the game and respect the journalists and media organisations that promote the game for them. I don't see this from the BCCI, and it's something that should change, and I think it's very poor the way that they have shunned the media during this World Cup.
How has the Australian media reacted to the incident that happened with Virat? Because this is the same guy who scored that brilliant 100 in both the innings and added it in the test at the start of the test series.
A little bit of surprise. Look, we learnt to love Virat this summer. Virat was really good with the media this summer. He was really good at his cricket, and we really respect him as a captain. We see a little bit of that fire in Virat Kohli that's going to make India a great team, and I'm a little bit surprised by this, and I think Virat should just come out and say sorry to this fellow and move on, and then everybody can move on. This is going to be, this is not going to be the biggest story of the World Cup. Hopefully India will get to the finals, and then you'll have something really good to report on.
BCCI Secretary has made a comment that this kind of incident shouldn't have happened, shouldn't have taken place. So what does the Australian media have to say? BCCI need to react strongly, condemning such kind of things?
Oh, absolutely. Look, when there was a similar incident with David Warner and a couple of reporters a couple of years back here, and David was strongly reprimanded and had to miss a couple of games. I'm not sure if that should happen with this one. That's up to the BCCI how much they want to make of it. But I do think that they shouldn't. It's a very bad look for a man who's a Test captain to be speaking like this.
I remember
before
on Twitter
Twitter with Malcolm.
And for a few matches? Or what?
Yeah, he was suspended for a couple of matches. He
Okay.
missed a tour match, and because of that, I think he couldn't play the first game of of the Ashes. And look, my work's on the phone right now. Sorry, I better dodge them. Hang on.